Hello students, today we are going to take up the topic water. This is chapter 3 of ICSE Chemistry class 9. The topic here under discussion is the physical properties of water in relation to water as a universal solvent. So let us start this topic with a very good thought. Practice kindness all day to everybody and you will realize you are already in heaven now. So kindness, follow that every day to everybody. So learning outcomes from this session is you will be able to explain about the composition of water, means water contains what, in which ratio, the structure of water, physical properties of water like boiling point, freezing point, anomalous expansion, latent heat of fusion, latent heat of vaporization, specific heat capacity, universal solvent, and the importance of presence of dissolved salt and gases in water. So let us start. You can see from the slide here, water, there are two different water. One is the water is drinking. We can drink water. That is a soft water. Another water is a hard water. This is one point of difference. One person will say like that. Second person will say, sir, this is homogeneous, this is heterogeneous. And third person will say, sir, it is tasteless and it is having little taste, but it is that salty taste is there. Another person will say, sir, this does not contain any dissolved salts, and this water, which is the water from the ocean, is having dissolved salts. Another person will say, sir, this boiling point is less, here boiling point is more. There are different views by different people for this water. So here some people say, sir, this water is having formula of H2O and this formula is also H2O. And some will say, sir, this water contains 2 atoms of hydrogen and 1 atom of oxygen. And some will say, this water is containing 2 gram of hydrogen and 16 gram of oxygen. So the ratio of hydrogen to oxygen is 1:8. So there are different points of view for this water. We have to discuss each and every aspect in a good manner. So let us start. Here, water is an important solvent. So you know, for making solution, solute plus solvent give rise to solution. And solution can be homogeneous or heterogeneous. This you have studied from 6th class onwards. Now, the point here is not to discuss that thing. There are 3 different types of solution. We know that. You also know, that is unsaturated, saturated and supersaturated. Unsaturated, where more solute can be added to make a saturated solution. Saturated solution, where no more solute can be added further. And for supersaturated, this comes when you heat a saturated solution, some more solute can be added, that is known as supersaturated. All these solutions, the solubility, based on a fixed temperature. We cannot say any solution can act unsaturated or supersaturated depending upon the temperature. So temperature is the parameter which is deciding the solubility of salt in a solvent. Now we are talking about water. Water finds 70% of the space in the earth, and even in the body also. Our body is composed of 70% of fluid, that is water. But the irony is that instead of that much water present in our earth, only 2.5% of the water is in the drinking form. This water, which you can see in the glass, this drinking water is available in earth is only up for 2.5%. And rest water is saline water. So 2.5 water, I am including the water that is present in the glaciers in the form of solid. So water has 3 forms, that is liquid water, the glacier water solid, and the water vapor, which comes through the water cycle in the form of transpiration, in the form of condensation, in the form of rain, in the form of trade winds. So here I am going to discuss now further about the composition of water. As you see from here, water contains what? Water contains 1 atom of oxygen and 2 atom of hydrogen, and the structure is bent V, and 2 atom of hydrogen, 1 atom of oxygen, and if you talk of mass ratio, 2:16 or 1:8, because atomic mass of hydrogen is 1, oxygen it is 16. Now you know that physical properties of water, these properties we have to discuss in detail in this video. Excellent solvent, universal solvent, because it is helpful in the transport of nutrients and waste products. It is a prerequisite of biogeochemical processes. So very important use as an excellent solvent. High dielectric constant. The solubility of ionic compounds in water is due to the property that is called high dielectric constant. More you will study in +2 physics, but no need to study more now. It is just a factor, parameter, you just keep remember like that. High surface tension. So surface tension water is high, that is why a small insect can move on the surface of water. Okay, so droplets of water and surface of water, this action of like soap and detergent, that is possible. The cleaning action of soap is prevented by high surface tension of water. So therefore surface tension of water is decreased by use of detergent. Transparent for visible and UV radiation, means UV radiation can pass through the water vapor present in the air, which allows the photosynthesis phenomena and helps in the maintaining the oxygen cycle as well as the water cycle. Highest density in liquid water at 4 degrees Celsius. This regards to anomalous expansion of water. This is very important topic, we will discuss in detail, and thereby density is maximum at 4, but it will decrease. Then there is a separation between the water and ice, that is known as stratification or isolation from freezing, means the solid water and the liquid water separates in this temperature range of 0 to 4. This helps in the build-up of icebergs. This helps in the marine life in the oceans and in the sea. And next property is about high heat of evaporation, that is known as latent heat, and high heat of melting, that is also latent heat of evaporation and latent heat of melting, and high heat capacity, that is the capacity to absorb not much amount of heat. Okay, so these factors we are going to discuss in detail one by one. This is just the summary of that. Don't be in tense mode, just see that next point. Now these are the properties. Boiling point, freezing point. Boiling point is the fixed temperature at which liquid changes to vapor, and you know the boiling point of water is 100 degrees Celsius. 100 degrees Celsius means 373 Kelvin, and it also means 212 degree Fahrenheit. Similarly, if you are talking of freezing point, 0 degrees Celsius, and in the Kelvin scale 273 Kelvin, and in the Fahrenheit scale this is 32 degree Fahrenheit. Do you know that whenever I am measuring the temperature from the thermometer, it is in the which scale? It is in the scale Fahrenheit scale. Please always check that. You just check the thermometer and you will find that. Next is the property we are going to discuss here is anomalous expansion of water. This is very important property. And what is represent? Read this line here. From 4 degree to 100 degrees Celsius, it expands normally as most liquid. So you know that liquid, when you increase the temperature, it undergo expansion. The same is the case for water at 4 to 100. But what happens when 4 to 0? When you temperature you are decreasing, it should contract. It should contract, but it is not contracting. It is expanding. So what is happening is, when the temperature is decreased from 4 to 0, the expansion takes place. Volume increases, or we can say when 0 to 4, volume decreases. So you just remember in this way that less than 4, when you move from 4 to 0, instead of contracting, it starts expanding. So expanding means volume will. What will happen? If you see from here, 4 to 0, if you go, volume is decreasing. Volume if you decrease, you know the density is mass per unit volume. Denominator is decreasing. If denominator is increasing here, C4, the volume was minimum and say therefore density is maximum. Here if you go to 4 to 0, that was the case of anomalous expansion, the volume is increasing. So what will happen? The density will decrease. Density will decrease. If density will decrease, as you know that 4 to 0, the state of water changes from liquid to solid. Therefore, density of ice is less than that density of water. So, water is having maximum density at 4 degrees Celsius due to anomalous expansion of water. This is very, very important property of water. So, I think you have understood. Once more I will clarify here. Water at 4 degrees Celsius is having maximum density. If you are going to decrease the temperature, instead of contraction, expansion happen. Expansion means increase of volume. G4 to 0. So, if increase of volume is there, density will decrease. This is the point. Okay. Now here there is very important significance to of this property to marine life. Now you see, if water at 0 degrees Celsius changes to ice, it floats on the surface in the form of ice or iceberg. So what will happen? Ice or iceberg act as an insulator. Outside temperature is very, very less. Cold countries, outside temperature is very, very less, but the temperature will not decrease the temperature beneath this surface of ice. Mean to say that if on the surface in atmosphere if temperature is less than 0 or negative also, this negative temperature will not try to change the temperature below the water under the ice. That remains the temperature 0 to 4 degrees Celsius. Thereby the marine life can survive in this temperature. If temperature is decreased to negative degrees, the marine life may not be able to survive for that. This is the nature. So see, anomalous expansion of water helps the nature, helps the marine life to sustain life. So now the next point is going to discuss here is latent heat of fusion. So when we a term is using latent heat, there will be phase change. Phase change, you can see that solid is changing to liquid, and liquid here solid melting liquid. Please see this change. Here the temperature is not changing. Whenever the temperature is not changing and there is the absorption of heat, increasing internal energy, the heat is absorbed. This heat is called latent heat. Whenever there is no temperature change and there is no temperature change and there is transition in the phase, so that heat is called latent heat of fusion. Okay, let us understand more. When the phase change is from solid to liquid, that is known as vaporization. The sample must absorb heat. How much heat is absorbed to change the state from solid to liquid? That is called latent heat of fusion. And if I say solid to liquid, liquid to vapor, so how much heat is required to change the state from liquid to vapor without changing the temperature? That is called latent heat of vaporization. Here the two main points you have to remember. One is the phase change is involved. Second thing is the temperature does not change. So therefore here this is the amount of heat required to change the fixed amount of solid to liquid, that is called latent heat of fusion, and if liquid to vapor, that is called latent heat of vaporization. For water, latent heat of fusion is 334 joule per gram. It means to say that to change the solid state to liquid state, the latent heat required is 334 joule for 1 gram of ice. Now the terms we should be very clear. Specific latent heat, specific latent heat of fusion, specific latent heat of vaporization. I have already discussed with you, fusion means solid to liquid and vaporization means liquid to vapor. Okay, how much heat? That is called latent heat. latent heat per unit mass. When you are saying, when you are fixing the mass 1 kg, then we use the word specific. Okay, so energy needed to change the state. If specific word is there, mass I have fixed, that is 1 kg. Now one more term is there, specific heat capacity. Specific heat capacity of a substance is the amount of energy required to raise the temperature. Please do understand, here there is no phase change, and the second thing is there is temperature change is there. So the two parameters are different, which is differentiating the latent heat and heat capacity. What is that? In the latent heat there was phase change, here there is no phase change. In latent heat there was change in temperature, there was no change in temperature, here the temperature is changing. Okay, so if you are taking 1 kg, it means specific is changing the temperature by 1 degree Celsius. How much heat is required? That is called specific heat capacity. So these properties, these two properties, specific latent heat and specific heat capacity, these properties are very important to us. See here, specific heat of water is 4.184 joule per gram degree Celsius. It means to change 1 gram of substance by 1 degree Celsius, we need 4.84 joule of energy. Similarly, if you want to specific heat of ice, so that is less as compared to that of water. Specific heat of steam, that is 2.03 joule per gram per degree Celsius. And heat of fusion, so this is latent heat. You can see that latent heat of fusion is 334. That is very large as compared to heat capacity of water. Similarly, heat of evaporation is too much, 2260 joule per gram. This is the reason that steam causes blisters while the hot water at the same temperature will not. Okay, because the latent heat of evaporation is very large as compared to the latent heat of water. So now you can see some of the questions also will be there, we will discuss shortly. So next is the water universal solvent. Why it can dissolve most of the solute, and it's having the bond, that is bent structure is there, and negative charge small delta, small positive delta charge, small positive delta charge is H, this is H, this is oxygen. Oxygen is more electronegative. The electronegativity difference is there in these bonds. This arrow is representing towards the more electronegative element, that is oxygen. Okay, and the overall dipole moment, this dipole moment means polarity. This states that water is polar substance because it's having partial positive and negative charge on each dipole. Okay, so this makes the water a very good solvent, and that is polar solvent. Now the next is the salt, which we were talking of earlier when we started the chapter. We talked of ocean water, we talked of dissolved salt, we talked of increase of the density. So these are related with the experiment. If you take the tap water also, when you heat it, you will find this type of concentric rings there after the evaporation of water. This signifies that water is containing, this tap water contains the dissolved salts. So dissolved salts will be there, so that is causing the ring formation of concentric rings. So what this dissolved solids? Dissolved salts means dissolved solids. For what it is made up of? It is bicarbonate, sulfate, phosphates, nitrates, calcium, magnesium, sodium, organic ions and other ions. So if you take the water from the sea, their sulfate, phosphate would be in large quantity. But in other ways, the bicarbonates of these are soluble chlorides. These ions are important in sustaining aquatic life. So as we discussed already, that the marine water contains sulfate, phosphate in large quantity, even though chlorides also. However, high concentration can result in damage in organism cell, water turbidity, reduce photosynthetic activity, increase the water temperature. Means the same thing that is hard water we are talking of. If hard water we will drink, we will lead to some problems in our kidney or any other problem can be there. Factors affecting the level of dissolved solids in water body are urban and fertilizer runoff, waste water and septic effluent soil, because this adds up to the solids in the river water system and the underground water system. That's why creating the instability in the dissolved solid content in the water. So how much water quality is good, that can be tested by this TDS measurement tools, and you can see that if water is having very less TDS count, then also it is not good, because the minerals we will lack in that minerals, and our body needs minerals that is obtained from this TDS. And if it is in the range of 150 to 300, it's good. It means soluble salts are there which is required by our body, like calcium, magnesium, sodium. It is beneficial. If you increase the TDS level to 500, so it is good, okay. But if it is 600 to 900, that is fair, and 900 to 1200 is poor, because that will create another problems in regard to the biological functions. Okay. So now here dissolved oxygen. So we are talking about dissolved oxygen here. You can see the temperature 0, 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, 25, 30. So this temperature is in Celsius, and you can see that the dissolved oxygen level is decreasing with temperature. So this is the aspect regarding to the water pollution in regard to the nuclear reactors. That is also known as thermal pollution. If temperature is more, the dissolved oxygen content in the water will be decreasing, and this is used in milligram per liter. So now you can see from here, so it's the surface of water that different species, marine species can exist depending upon the percentage, depending upon the concentration of dissolved oxygen in marine water. So okay, so different species are able to adapt with the percentage of oxygen. Fine. So next is the how much dissolved oxygen is good for our health. That is, if 8 to 9 milligram per liter of dissolved oxygen is good for our health. And see, the importance of dissolved salt and oxygen in water is it maintain the photosynthesis process and the diffusion of oxygen from the atmosphere into water, and able to survive plants and algae, and they will release the oxygen and maintain the oxygen carbon dioxide cycle. And oxygen consumption in a river, if it can increase, if the green algae is increasing too much, then it will be ending up in the decrease of the oxygen level. So both way means we have to maintain the balance, that how much the plants have to maintain the cycle of oxygen and carbon dioxide. So that is also known as eutrophication. Okay. Now, so this is the summary of the topic which we have discussed just now. That is water composition. We are clear 2:1, and the mass ratio also it is clear 1:8. Formula of water is H2O. Chemical name is dihydrogen oxide. Molecular mass is 18. Now the bond angle is 104.5. You need not to learn that. That will not come. Water is polar solvent due to difference in the electronegativity between hydrogen and oxygen. Next is physical property. Boiling point, we are clear that 100 degrees Celsius. It's not only 100, it is 100 degrees Celsius at 1 atmosphere. As the pressure changes, the boiling point will change. If the pressure is going to increase, the boiling point is increased. This principle is used in the pressure cooker. Because the pressure is more, the boiling point is increasing, and the more time it takes to cook the food, means pressure cooker will take less time because it is increasing the boiling point, and the time it will heat up more. So therefore the food will be cooked easily. Similarly, when we are going to hilly areas, their vapor pressure is decreasing. The food cooks easily. The boiling point is decreased there. So this is the action of means the change of boiling point and freezing point with pressure. And if the pressure is increased, the boiling point increase. If the pressure is decreased, boiling point decrease. Density is maximum, that is 1 gram per centimeter cube or 1000 kg per meter cube at 4 degrees Celsius. Anomalous expansion takes place from 4 to 0. That we will discuss in detail. And the water is having maximum density at 4 degrees Celsius. And conductivity, the pure water is a non-conductor of electricity because it does not form ions, but impure water can conduct electricity, or we can add few drops of acid to make it conducting. The electrolysis of water produce two gases, hydrogen and oxygen, hydrogen at cathode, oxygen at anode. This we have discussed in previous chapters. Water is having property of a universal solvent which can dissolve all of these solutes, and because of its nature of polar solvent and high dielectric constant, that value is 80 at 20 degrees Celsius. Next is about latent heat of fusion. This we have discussed in detail. Fusion means the change of state from solid to liquid, the amount of energy required to change the state from solid ice to liquid, and there is no temperature change and there is phase change involved. Okay, and if it is vaporization, see the 2260. How is the difference? 336 and 2260. Okay, and phase change takes place in latent heat and there is no temperature change. Specific heat capacity, there is no phase change but temperature change is there, and 4.2 joule for 1 gram for 1 degree Celsius. This much heat is required to change the temperature by 1 degree. And here dissolved salts importance are there in our life. It helps in the growth and development of plants. It tastes to water, supply essential nutrient by our body. Air dissolved in water, that is having two components, nitrogen and oxygen. Oxygen is more soluble in water than nitrogen, and 33% oxygen will be there and 66% nitrogen and 1% carbon dioxide. Okay. And importance of air dissolved in water is like marine fish uses oxygen through gills, and aquatic plants use oxygen and use carbon dioxide and give out oxygen through the process known as photosynthesis. And there is the formation of salts like soluble salts of calcium bicarbonate when limestone and carbon dioxide and water react, and that form calcium bicarbonate, that marine organisms such as snails, oyster extract calcium carbonate from calcium bicarbonate to build their shells. The thought for the session is practice kindness all day to everybody and you will realize you are already in heaven now. Thank you.